edge computing we are working towards that, and it's the direction towards that. Okay.
Very good to hear indeed. Right, moving on over to Pritesh. Tell us a little bit more about the role that IoT and automation can play, of course, in the chromatography systems as well.
Yeah, as correctly mentioned by panelist, we are just getting very basic inputs like mole percent, and that too also we are not summing up 100%. So sometime mole percent we will get 95 or 98. So where this 2% goes, we don't know. And only indication we are getting is the composition. We are not getting cycle time. So sometime what happened, we don't know when old cycle finished and new started, because there is no shift change like petrochemical industry after each cycle. So very difficult. Something we have done to just remote monitoring by laying cable temporary. Now, the issue here now is cable is very cheap, but laying cost to excavate and all this is huge actually. You have to excavate because all laying is underground, nothing is above the ground. So we have to excavate, make trench, lay the cable, and the cable should be specially designed for Cat 6, but that is armor cable and all that requirement is there. Otherwise cable will not work. So just to lay 500-meter cable is more costing, I think 5 to 6 times than cable cost. But we tested, and remote monitoring is possible, at least for this immersion gas chromatograph. But now just we are waiting how to, if some new project is coming and they have some excavation, then we can lay parallel that cable. That is the thing. And second thing, as you say, technician, we need to train them properly, and they need to understand significance of this chromatography, how important it is, and they have to feel something is important. Then they will work. Otherwise, so more than technical cultural shift is required here, so that they will give more weightage, and of course management is supporting. So we are trying to do our remote monitoring plus remote maintenance is our requirement actually. If they have vendor has some solution, then definitely we'll adapt.
Thank you so much. Right, in the last sort of 10 minutes, as I promised, we are now going to throw out to our audience. Maybe you've been given all the information you need through that very detailed analysis. However, I'm going to give you a chance now, your one opportunity to ask any questions. Please don't be shy. I know it's the first session of the day, but we would love to hear your feedback maybe, or some comments, or some general questions. I think we have a microphone. We have some lovely ladies here with the microphone, and we have a gentleman at the back and one here. Have you got a question? Nope. Okay, yeah, we're going to head on over right to the back. Please do tell us who you are and where you're from as well. Oh, we've got 2 questions. Brilliant. Yeah, do tell us who you are and where you're from, and your question, please.
Ashwin, I am from BAPCO. My question is, since you also told that GC is one of the long from 80s analytic technique, is there any other parallel technique coming up like infrared spectroscopy, which can be, you can say, which can give you the same results with many of these problems solved?
Yeah, there's been a number of infrared techniques that have been proposed. The challenge with infrared absorption is it struggles with detection levels, and it struggles with some components that have very similar infrared spectra. As processing power becomes cheaper and far quicker, then yes, these are improving, but I don't see, they have some benefits, but they also have quite a lot of drawbacks. They're inevitably an optical-based system, so any optical-based system is prone to contamination issues, which will degrade its performance over time. So yeah, it works fine at an exhibition or in a nice clean laboratory, but stick it on a platform in the middle of the North Sea or out in the desert here for 6 months and expect it to still be working well. It might be more challenging for the OEM to develop that. But yeah, it is something that's been looked at extensively, certainly over the last 20, 25 years that I've been aware of.
Great question, thank you so much. I think we had a gentleman at the back there as well. We'll just pass that microphone over. Please do, yes, tell us your name and which company you're from as well.
Good morning, Ross Johnston, Sensia. Yeah, I think Paul's opening remarks about GCs were, he hit the nail on the head. And, you know, I think quality, whether it's liquid measurement or gas measurement, tends to take a back seat to quantity. And it doesn't matter how good a meter or a GC you have, if it's not installed correctly, you're in big trouble. And from what Paul was saying, you know, the representativity, the sample, pressure reduction, Joe Thompson's effect, the lag time calculations, it has to be done correctly. And it is an educational process and not just here in Abu Dhabi. I think secondly, the comment on the micro GCs, I see that a lot as well, but also even worse than that, they're using inferential analyzers, you know, like Wabi type analyzers, fast response times, and they're inferring composition from 3 or 4 main constituents, which obviously has an impact on the uncertainty performance. So I can relate to all these problems. My question is, you know, we talked about IoT and remote monitoring. By that time, largely the horse is bolted. What regulatory practices are going to be in place here in Abu Dhabi to, you know, not just regulatory practices, but operational practices, maybe like a QMMS or something, to ensure that systems are designed correctly and they're operated correctly? I mean, how do you control that going forward?
Great question. Regulation, we haven't touched on that. So yes, who would like to tackle that one?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much for that. There is definitely scope for improvement, and as you say, catching the horse before it bolts. The regulatory framework within the UAE is a little bit vague. It is starting to change. I mean, the commercial model that ADNOC operates under has changed so much in the 10 years I've been here. No, most people will have heard that ADNOC Gas became an LLC rather than an OPCO as of 1st of January this year. We've already had a small IPO, and I'm sure they will be looking for further external investment in the company once they have a financial track record to demonstrate to potential investors the profitability, ongoing profitability of the company. And this will inevitably lead to more regulation. There will be external financial auditing and technical auditing. We see that at the moment. There was a project called Galaxy, which was a very large investment in ADNOC over a 20-year contract, and the return to the investors, who are not OPCOs, they were various mixed investors around the world, the return to them is predicated on the quantity of NGL and sales gas we ship through our network each month. So I think some people within the business have been surprised at the scrutiny they're now under from the technical representatives of the investors, because it was a very large sum of money that was invested. So I think increasingly you're going to see regulations where within ADNOC there are some standardized guidelines which are about to be, over the next 12, 18 months, hopefully be rolled out across the whole of ADNOC. So you will start to get some standardization, some requirements, but there's a lot can be done yet with the equipment we have to run basically health check or condition monitoring, whatever you want to call it, and these can all be automated. I'm not trying to get 100 technicians running around in circles collecting numbers. I don't want that. They probably don't either, hopefully. But we want to, yes, the industry needs to move forward. It's lagged behind other parts of the world in some areas in this level of automation. When I go out, you may have differences, but I go out into the field within the parts of ADNOC I've been working in, and no one would think about fixing a GC. No, you just phone the vendor up. Now, when I first started and was out in the North Sea, you'd get problems. It's a rich gas, it was semi-processed gas offshore that was going to chromatograms. You had to replace column sets regularly because they got contaminated because you overwhelmed the filters that tried to remove the liquids. So every half-competent metering technician knew how to do this work. And here we just seem to have a philosophy if it's broken, get the vendor. Sorry, I'm not trying to ruin Emerson's side business, but yeah, but we need training and assessment of the field personnel here. We can't expect them to know this. I didn't know it when I started. I was trained. So we need training, and they need assessment to ensure that they have the correct competencies to work on this equipment.
Very well said. Any other further comments from our panelists?
No, yes, Paul mentioned correctly, training, because anything we call vendor. And only one guy is there for us, Pankaj Patel, I think. We have to wait for him. And only for GC, we have service contract, believe. Only for gas contract, we have special service contract to manage. We have about, that is only one part, one model, about 20. Still we establish service contract. That is the level. But level of commitment from management said, okay, they are willing to spend money so that we can manage very well.
Thank you so much. Really fantastic question. We've got two more. Let's get through these two, and then we're going to have to wrap up for time. So yes, we are a bit pushed for time. So let's very quickly answer these next two questions. Yes. Do tell us who you are and which company you're from.
Thank you. Matthias Kiru from Messi Company. I have a question for Mr. Pritesh. Considering the challenges and the complexity of maintenance for the chromatographs that were discussed today, is ADNOC looking at or reflecting about application of other technologies like calorimeters for custody transfer applications?
Yeah, we are looking, because if you see GC, it requires some utility to work, and simple thing like venting of the fast loop gas. We cannot connect with closed drain because that's pressure fluctuates and everything. And we can, it's not easy to release in atmosphere because of toxic gas is there. So definitely we are looking for like analyzer which is not consuming any utility, like near infrared, some optical device, and some analyzer available that doesn't require any utility. So we are looking after that. And plus how to commission fastly, and more than how to maintain remotely actually. So that is the main requirement from ADNOC onshore or ADNOC group of companies.
Thank you so much. Final question goes to the gentleman over there. Please do state who you are and where you're from.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandeep Ban. I'm from RMG Messtechnik GmbH, Germany. We are the OEMs for calorific meter, that micro GC that Paul was mentioning. We also have a traditional gas chromatograph, and we also manufacture analyzer systems, analyzer houses, complex analyzer systems. So, question to you, Paul, is the micro GC, what you said, it's essentially not a GC, it's a calorific meter. That's what we call it, not a GC. It's not a chromatograph. It does not produce chromatographs. It's just a calorific or